Forward. Okay, welcome everybody. This is the Brand Power Hour. Thank you so much for being here. It is February 15th. This is my free community for brand builders where I do trainings on marketing, or I invite guest experts to sort of help you with tools that will help you boost your business and boost your brand. So today I'm very excited because I have a dear old friend, Swapna Patel. We were friends back in New Jersey when I lived in New Jersey. I'm in Maine now. She now lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we both moved out of New Jersey. But as I was mentioning, we did a lot of collaborations, 10 years ago, I feel like 10 years ago, where she was my stylist for the brand photography that I did. And it was such a great creative collaboration to have someone on my team that would kind of, dress my clients, had the jewelry, had the outfits, and then I could just focus on the brand photography. But since then, I have evolved my brand. So if you're new to me, I am a brand strategist. I am a mentor for female entrepreneurs. I have a few of you here who are in my mastermind, Brand Breakthrough, but I really help women become the go-to experts in their industries. And I help them through messaging, through finding their power niche, and through visibility. So speaking of brand building and visibility, today we are going to be talking about personal style for success. And I'd love to introduce you to Swapna, who is a personal stylist for high-achieving women. So she is a former New York City fashion designer. She teaches success-driven entrepreneurs how to use their wardrobe as a tool to boost their online visibility, increase their impact, and elevate their personal brand. Her favorite power tools are color, which is mine too, accessories, and a healthy dose of fashion psychology. She has helped physicians, coaches, fitness experts, photographers, realtors, and other high achievers level up their style to look like industry experts. When she's not remixing the perfect outfit for her clients, she plays order cook to her resident picky eaters, remixing pantry and fridge ingredients for creative culinary creations. Her guilty pleasures include, but are not limited to, Bollywood movies, binge-worthy homemade brownies, and a sale at Anthropologie. She dreams of her next beach vacay and curling up with the latest historical fiction. So many things we have in common. I just love it. But thank you so much for being here, Swapna. I'm so excited. I know that personal style has big element in the impression that you make. And often we see mixed messaging where people are showing up and it looks different from the business that they're presenting on their website or the expertise that they have. And really, it has to be very cohesive. Otherwise, that trust factor, that know, like, and trust factor is definitely at risk. So thank you for being here. I'm going to pass the baton to you. While we pass the baton to Swapna, in the chat, please put in who you are, what you do, so that you guys can connect with each other, so that Swapna can see who's in the room and maybe tailor some of her content for you. But I definitely want this to be a networking as well as a training for everybody.
Well, hi, everyone. Thank you, Malika, for that beautiful introduction. So I have known Malika for 10 years, and shall I say where we met? We met at a spin studio where you had just worked out.
I didn't.
And I had a pop-up table, and you bought it was like November or December, and you bought a bangle for your sister-in-law from me.
Okay. Oh, now I remember. It was in Summit.
Yes.
Okay.
It was in Summit. And so that is where I first met you, but later we started collaborating on the Get Gorgeous headshot event and styling brand photo shoots. And you know what? It was not only a fun professional experience, but I feel like, and I told you this earlier when I was like desperately trying not to cry, but like I miss that collaborative, creative energy, and it's just not been the same. But for those of you who are new to actually Malika, let me tell you that she's the one who planted the seed in my head about being a stylist. Um, so I used to work in New York as a designer, and then when I had kids, I took a break. And while on this break, I just didn't feel like my old self. So I started a jewelry and accessories business with this company called Stella and Dot. And Malika was doing a vision board workshop. And she said to me, Okay, well, a lot of people sell jewelry, but how are you different from them? And what's next? And to be honest with you, up until that day, I had never even thought of what's next. So if it wasn't for Malika, I would not be here. And that is really the fact of the matter. So thank you, Malika, for
What?
showing me the possibilities, of creating a vision where I didn't have one for myself. So today we're going to talk about personal style for success and what that means. I am going to share my screen with you. There'll be like a lot of fun moments, images, and there will be time for Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, like jot them down and then you can ask me at the end. Sounds good? So, personal style for success, what we wear, why it matters, and how to wear it. I'm going to talk today about leveraging the power of your wardrobe to unlock the next level of your success. It's not moving. There you go. So, a little bit about me. Oops. How am I qualified to teach you this? I am the founder of Style Remix, my business. I'm a former New York City fashion designer. My education is in fashion design and fashion merchandising. And over the course of last several years, I've styled about 1,000 women. My favorite things, and I think the most underused things, are color and accessories. That picture, by the way, is taken by Malika. And I have partnered with some great brands and in front of as well as behind the camera, and it's been a fun ride. So, my clients call me when, and maybe you have been in these situations, when they get invited on prime opportunity shows like Marie Forleo's Marie TV, Shark Tank, or South by Southwest. It's that big festival in Austin, Texas. Now, we've all been there, right? We have like a big event, and then we're like, oh my God, but I have nothing to wear. That's perfect for who I need to be on Marie TV or Shark Tank or South by Southwest. But they also call me when they're changing up their brand pictures. This is Clara and that's Malika, both um, of whom I styled the photo shoots. And Malika, I think that's a picture you took, right, of Clara? Um, and then the majority of my clients come to me for that one big change. Do you know what that is? Menopause. So I think it's two things. Firstly, it's the change your body goes through. And I think when we are in that age, anywhere between 45 to 55, I think we just start giving zero Fs about the world and step into our own power and who we are and what we want out of life. And I think that that is what triggers this craving for an authentic brand image and authentic personal representation. And one of those tools to do that is in the way we dress. Now, dress for success, is it a fact or a myth? Well, the psychology of dressing well says the clothes you wear and the way you groom yourself will change the way other people hear what you say. It will subconsciously tell them if you are like them or if you are different. It will determine whether they listen or ignore, trust or distrust, right? So, the way we dress is a form of nonverbal communication. We hear a lot about body language, right? How you sit, your posture, what it conveys to others. In fact, last week there someone from LinkedIn was on the Today Show, and they were talking about the top categories of jobs. The number one area for job growth and expansion is communication. And communication is not just the words we say, the things that we write in our copy, but it's how we show up. And especially these days with social media, with video taking over the world, literally, um, visual communication is key. And yes, you can post pretty stock images, you can, hide behind a Canva graphic, but the market is getting saturated. And one of the ways to stand out is to show up, because that is how people are going to connect with you. It's going to decide whether they listen to you or they ignore you. And it boosts your know, like, and trust factor. Here's another interesting tidbit. The Harvard Business Review published an article that said people who put themselves together, be it for a job interview or be it for, wherever they're showing up, they tend to make 12% more money than their peers who do not put themselves together. So I don't know about you, but if changing your shirt can earn you 12% more, then I think you're willing to do it. Am I right? Let me have a show of hands if you're ready. 12% more. Okay. That's a pretty decent chunk of money, if you ask me. So, one of my favorite leading ladies is Michelle Obama. And, I have a lot of clients that say to me, well, I don't want to shop because I have a lot of clothes in my wardrobe. Like, I've had these clothes for so long, right? But the truth is, do they represent who you are today? Your clothes from 10 years ago, 12 years ago, right? Let's look at Michelle Obama's style journey. Here she is before the first time President Obama got elected. So I want to say this is like 2008. Okay. So she's a senator's wife, right? They're at the Democratic convention. And look, I mean, she's young. I think she was like maybe in her early 40s at the time. And she's wearing a blue dress. Blue is the color of trust, right? But it's not navy. So it's not conservative blue. Okay. So it's blue. It has a flower brooch. She's with her daughter. Like it has a V neckline. You don't see a lot of V's on the political stage, right? Yet it's conservative, but an expression of her at that point in her life. Now, here she is when Barack Obama was running for president for the second time, also at the convention. But do you see that it's a higher stake election? The neckline has gone up a little bit. The shade of blue has now gotten deeper, right? The dress is not as fitted, it's a little more flared. So it reflects what's going on around her, perhaps, the emotions around what is at stake the second time around. This is her at her book launch. So this is after they're out of the White House, right? This is at the book launch, part of the book launch that was in Brooklyn. I want to say she was being interviewed by Sarah Jessica Parker, so another fashion icon. But look at the color, completely different, like yellow. So like joy. It's an unconventional silhouette compared to the previous two dresses. So it's long, it's flowy, it is a wrap, and she had these like multicolored glitter leggings on underneath it. Let's say if she was doing a book launch in Texas, which I cannot imagine if that was a stop. But if it was, she would have probably dressed different. So she's dressing for her audience here because she's in Brooklyn, New York, right? She's in a different stage of life. She no longer needs to be first lady, right? So she has changed the way she dresses. This is at her first book launch called Becoming. And then this is the last picture in the white is at her most recent book launch, which is The Light We See or The Light We Are. And look at her. She has gone through menopause. Even more free and true expression, right? If you followed this book launch, like her hairstyles were even different. So she had braids, she had cornrows, like really a full expression of who she is, of her heritage, of what she represents. And look at her here, cargo pants, loose, right? A blazer, it's all white, so still a power color, if you ask me, asymmetric neckline, but just completely different from the three iterations of her before that, right? If she showed up at this book launch in the dress from 2012, it would not have the same impact. It would not speak to the same audience because she's a different woman now, right? So this is what the evolution needs to be. Now you're going to say to me, okay, Swapna, you are showing me a person who has a budget for a stylist, who has a wardrobe, allowance. I'm a regular woman. I have a mortgage and kids to take to activities. What about me? Well, I'm going to talk to you too. Now, most of us are going to fall into these three categories: the hidden gem, the spontaneous schemer, and the confident CEO. Okay. Who is the hidden gem? The hidden gem, as the name suggests, she is a pro at what she does. She knows her topic of expertise inside and out. She is fully invested in her business. She's paid for the website. She hires copywriters. But all of that has left her with an empty cup that doesn't allow her to show up as who she is, as her best self. Okay. So she's an expert, but she's not showing up. This is the person who's using the stock images. This is the person who has cute quotes and Canva graphics on their Instagram, right? They are primed for leadership, but they're not showing up. And this is a person who may have like other things going on, right? Like I said, they have invested so much in their business, they don't maybe have the resources to invest in themselves. So they don't want to go shopping, or they have transitioned from like a corporate job to a mom role to now a business owner, and that wardrobe doesn't reflect who they are. So they don't have that connect, like the medium to connect with their people. And I have been that hidden gem. I will tell you, in the fall of 2013, after I had given birth to my a younger one, and I was at a diner with a couple of girlfriends, and I was still nursing at the time. I had leggings and like this tunic on. And I was complaining to my girlfriends about how I was invited to this alumni reunion. It was a happy hour in New York City, and I was resisting going. And I said, one of them is a VP at whatever brand. One of them runs XYZ division for like Liz Claiborne, or I forget what the company was at the time. And I said, I feel like, who am I? I'm home with my kids. And she said, it sounds to me like you don't feel very good about yourself. And that was such a pivotal moment for me, because she hit the nail on the head. I didn't feel good about myself. Like my body had changed. We had gone from being a double income family to a single income family because I had, quit my job to stay home with my kids. And kids are expensive. They need a lot of stuff. And I had put myself on the bottom of that priority list. And and I really took what she said to heart. And I said, okay, how can I start feeling better about myself? Reunion excluded, on a day to day basis, how can I feel good about myself? And one of the things that used to bring me joy and that I miss the most about my corporate job was getting up in the morning and getting ready, you know? And that simple act can really change the trajectory because it changes your energy. So what happens when you change your clothes, right? I started, um, and it doesn't mean that I went out and I bought a new design of wardrobe. It means that I took some staples from my corporate days and I mixed them with things I had found at Target. Maybe I was still in my maternity jeans. I forget now, but just mixing those things and every day doing something that shifted my energy then led me to considering opportunities, right? Those opportunities introduced me to people like Malika. But if I was still sitting in my tunic and my nursing bra at home, I wouldn't be here 10 years later, right? So that's the hidden gem, who's good at what they do, but they don't feel good about themselves. So they're not showing up. The spontaneous schemer. The spontaneous schemer gets invited to do a talk, and then the night before runs out to TJ Maxx or Nordstrom Rack or the mall to find something to wear for that event. Have we all been there? Have we all been a spontaneous schemer? Yeah, we have. So this is what happens with the spontaneous schemer, right? It's very expensive being a spontaneous schemer because what happens is you go to the store and you reach for what feels comfortable and confident. So usually it's that seventh black sweater, the third little black dress, right? Because you don't have time. You haven't really invested in getting to know what works for you. So now you reach for the same version of the same thing because it gets the job done. You probably feel like a rush from shopping, so it releases some of that maybe stress for that event or whatever. And now you've just ended up with multiple versions of the same thing in your closet. How many times have you looked at your closet and said, "Oh my gosh, I have so many things that look like each other"? Each of us has that crutch. Each of us has that, same style of jeans or the same brand of sweater, just like in a different color. I have them. I have a whole bunch of Banana Republic cashmere crew necks. I know they work. That's what I buy, right? So that's the spontaneous schemer. So it's expensive because you're just spending money on the same thing. And then every time you look at your wardrobe, you have nothing to wear because everything you have looks very much like the other thing. And then there's the confident CEO, curated CEO, right? She understands the value of um, her wardrobe. She understands what it does for her, but she's a busy woman. So this is a person who is probably outsourcing her style to somebody else. She may even be subscribing to a service like Rent the Runway, where she gets like new designer pieces to wear, or she's getting a subscription box. But the thing is, at the end of the day, she doesn't understand the fundamentals of her style. She understands the value of it, but not what she needs. So how do we all get from these three to having CEO style, right? So this is a framework that I follow in my digital course. It is what I use in my services, whether it's my $1,300 package or the 10,000 one. This is the foundation of my programs. It's the foundation of my style philosophy, and I'm here to share it with you so you can play around it, play with it on your own. So CEO style, according to me, sits at the intersection of three things. And what are those three things? Number one is your body shape. Number two is your best colors. And number three is your authenticity factor, right? Now, body shape, pretty self-explanatory. It's how your musculature is, how the weight is distributed on your body, how tall you are, how petite you are. All of those things together comprise body shape. And we'll dive into it later. What are your best colors? Your best colors are not what your favorite Instagram influencer is showing you. Your best colors are not what Pantone is saying is 2024's color of the year, which, by the way, is peach fuzz and looks good on about only 20% of the people. Okay. So your best colors are not what's on you in New York Fashion Week. It's not necessarily what the stores are selling right now. But your best colors are colors that suit your skin tone, your skin's undertone, your depth, all kinds of fun stuff. And then your authenticity factor is stuff that makes you you. It's your secret sauce, right? What your specialty is, the things you love, the things you talk about all the time. And I'm going to show you how to bring it into your personal wardrobe. So let's look at this framework. Now, what happens if you have two things, but not the third, right? So what if you are dressing in your best colors and you are dressing for your body shape, but you're lacking the authenticity factor, right? What's going to happen? It's going to feel disingenuous. You're not going to feel like yourself in those clothes, right? You may feel like you are putting on clothes of like a character, but they're not going to feel like you. What happens if you have your best colors and your authenticity factor, but it's not right for your body shape? So when that happens, then it's an actual physical misfit, right? It's ill-fitting, it's not usually flattering, and it's not going to do a whole lot for you. You're probably not going to want to stand up tall in that outfit. Now, the third thing, what if you dress for your body shape and you have your authenticity factor, but it's not your best color? Simply put, you're going to look washed out. Okay. Um, and it doesn't mean that you have to wear light colors or dull colors to look washed out. A lot of women look washed out in black. Black is everyone's favorite color to wear. And it's not for everybody. That's that's the hard truth. When I tell people that, they feel very upset that I said black is not for everyone. But it really isn't. It's not for everybody. And especially on camera, it's not for everybody. And I'm going to tell you why. So to develop your CEO style, what are we going to do? We're going to get to know our body shape. Okay. And I'm not talking about the apple, the pear, the banana, or the triangle, the rectangle, and whatnot. Those are patriarchal ways of thinking. Okay. What do all of those principles do for us? They tell us that every woman needs to look like she has a tiny waist and a big ass like a Kardashian. And why is that? Because traditionally, if you study like human evolution, that shape is considered ideal for fertility. But that's not what we're doing. We're running businesses. We don't need to look like fertile goddesses all the time, right? Instead, we don't have to put a belt on our waist if it doesn't make us feel comfortable and confident. Instead, we're going to explore something called Kibe body types, and I go into this in a lot more detail in my courses and stuff. But basically, it is how your bone structure is, how tall you are, how things are distributed, how your fat and your muscles and everything is distributed on your body, right? And that's going to dictate the kind of clothes you like, the prints you wear, and things like that. Okay. So like a Marilyn Monroe will never look good in what a Gwyneth Paltrow will, for example, right? Or Adele and Taylor Swift, completely different bodies and will always want to wear completely different things. Both beautiful, both perfect, right? But just completely different. Here's another thing why knowing your body shape is important, because in today's diet culture, in today's social media influencers, right? People are obsessed with two things: the number on the label and the number on the scale. But look at this really powerful image, okay? And Malika, you can attest to this. Like a lot of times, people are waiting to get their brand photo shoot, they're pushing it out, they're hesitant because what do they all want? They all want to lose some weight. They all want to lose some weight. Okay. And the truth is, if you know your body shape and you dress for it, you can look amazing at every size, every age, every weight. So look at this picture. They're all 154 pounds, right? But do they not look all completely different? Because everybody has a different bone structure. Like some people have wider shoulders, some people have wider hips, somebody has a narrower waist, somebody has fuller thighs, and everybody is a different height, right? So this is why we should not obsess so much over the number on the scale or the number on their tag, and why you should take into consideration your body shape. What does that look like? Here's Melissa McCarthy. She's wearing this dress. I want to say she's at the premiere of some movie with her husband. Great outfit, animal print. I love animal print. Okay. A beautiful bow at the neck, puffy sleeves, pleated skirt, red shoes, the whole thing, right? But you see that, like, when you look at this picture, your eye goes to the dress. It does not go to her face. It's not like, oh my gosh, there's Melissa McCarthy, right? Because first you're like, oh wow, look at that animal print dress. So the dress is wearing her. And here's Melissa McCarthy. Where does your eye go in this picture? It goes directly to her glowing face, right? Because that first dress was drowning her out. She was hiding. In this dress, look at her. Slightly more open neckline, two-tone, right? Lighter on top, darker on bottom. She has this beautiful cape, which by the way creates like a beautiful column. So like column dressing is great for her. Her hair is pulled away. So it's very simple compared to all the complexity of that first animal print dress, but she shines in this. She is wearing the dress in this. The dress is not wearing her. Make sense? Now, again, you're going to say, Swapna, you're showing me a celebrity who probably got that outfit for free, and those diamonds are probably Harry Winston. What about me? I'm a regular person. Well, so is my client, Kimberly. Kimberly Taylor is a money mindset coach in London. And when we worked together, she said to me, people think I'm a freelancer. And I think it's because of the way I dress. Okay. She has leggings on. She has like this baggy sweater. It's like a teal, dark green, right? She's wearing a necklace. So technically the elements are there. But here's Kimberly after we worked together. Does this after outfit look like something each and every one of you can put together at home? It does. It's Converse sneakers, a little animal print belt, right? A simple off-white blouse, and again, a longer, bright colored coat. Does she look like a money mindset coach? Does she look like somebody you would want to pay a few $1,000s to work with? I think she does. Right. So look, and this is not a professional picture. Her husband took this in a park. But doesn't she look amazing? Because instead of hiding in a longer tunicky sweater, she's actually creating a lot of visual interest in how she's dressed based on her body shape. Now let's talk about your best colors. Remember, I said best colors are not what Pantone is showing, not what your Instagram influencer is showing. It's not what is in season necessarily. Okay. Here's Kate Hudson. Did you even recognize her with that slicked back hair and the really dark lipstick and the dark, heavy dress? No, right? She's like this glowing, bubbly girl next door. And here's Kate Hudson in her best colors, right? It's warm, it's open, it's inviting. These are beautiful colors and beautiful dresses. But you know what? I'm just looking at her face. I'm not even looking at the dress because I'm like, yes, that's Kate Hudson. In that previous image, she was unrecognizable because that black was simply too heavy for her coloring, for her skin, for her hair, for her eye color. It was just too dark. Okay. So even celebrities don't, I mean, they let the dress wear them sometimes. And in this, she's wearing the dress. Again, celebrity. Now let's look at real life. This is my client, Selena. Selena is a makeup artist and she has a course called Makeup for Media. And she specifically teaches you how to do makeup for camera, for Zoom, for pictures, right? And she said to me, Swapna, shoulders up, I got it. Shoulders down, I don't know what I'm doing. So she came to me and we styled her photo shoot. And this is her after. Okay. So we looked at her skin, we looked at her hair, we looked at her eyes. And I mean, look, this first picture is actually taken outdoors, right? See how dark it is? Like you can't really see her eyes. You see her smile, but then like she's wearing this darker, like rust orange top. It's dark. And look at her here. She looks bright. She looks happy. She's changed her lip color from like this paler pink to this more punchy, darker shade of red. She is wearing a gold glitter top, some like softer wash blazer, right? So that is what, and she even got her hair colored after our appointment. So you will see the color here is much warmer than it is here, where it's more ashy, right? So the colors you wear are not just like the colors of your clothing, but it's also your makeup and it's also your hair color, right? So she went from having like these ashy blonde highlights to having more like warm honey colored highlights. So big difference, right? When you change the color of what you're wearing. And then the authenticity factor, right? So we talked about shape. I showed you why it's important, what it looks like in real life. Now we're going to talk about authenticity factor. So when you're developing your authenticity factor, right, you want to ask yourself these questions. Who is my ideal audience? How can I set myself apart? How do I want to look and feel in what I wear? And then does this reflect my personality, my lifestyle, and my goals? Okay. Your goal may be to like be on your couch and watch Netflix and eat popcorn, and that everybody wants that, and that is a part of everyone's lifestyle. But the way I relax is not the way I'm going to show up today. It's not the way I'm going to show up at a networking happy hour in the evening. And the reason that transition feels hard for a lot of people, okay, is because we have told ourselves this story that either you can be like comfy with no bra on in your college sweatshirt from 20 years ago, or you can look like Kate Hudson on the red carpet. But the truth is that majority of our life happens in that in between. Okay. You're not always going to be on a stage giving a TED talk, and you're not always going to be like sitting on your couch and watching The Crown like I do. You're going to live in that in between of your Zoom calls and happy hours and maybe PTO meetings or dating or whatever else, you know, and that in between is what we need to dress for. So I want you to think of these four things. Can you in the chat tell me who these necklaces belong to?
You mean celebrity wise or?
Yes, yes, celebrity wise. Somebody famous. Anyone?
I have no idea.
Okay, Stacy. Stacy is the winner. Yay, Stacy.
Oh, there you go.
Stacy's right. These necklaces belong to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and they were recently auctioned off. But a couple of years ago, they were on display at the Smithsonian. This is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was only the second woman to be appointed to the Supreme Court, right? So when she came in to this man's world, taking on a man's role, and she saw that black robe that the Supreme Court justices wear, she said, well, I need to put my stamp on this because I am a woman and I'm damn proud of it. And how am I going to, I cannot just wear this black robe, right? So she started adding these um, collars, whether they were beaded or they were lace or they were jewelry necklaces. That's what she started to do. And that became her iconic look to a point where people started sending her necklaces from their travels. So, like this one in the center, somebody who was an RBG superfan went to Africa and saw this collar there and bought it and mailed it to her. Right? Again, hand beaded. She has in the previous picture this lace collar. Somebody got it for her from France. Right? This is a Stella and Dot necklace. There was a Stella and Dot stylist who was also a lawyer, and she sent it to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg wore it in one of her portraits. So she became known for wearing this style of necklace or collar over her boring black robe, right? She put her stamp on it. What does that look like in real life? If you're not a Supreme Court justice and people are not just sending you necklaces in the mail, this is Yahi. I styled this shoot. Malika took these pictures, right? So Yahi owned an accounting business with her husband, and she decided she wanted to do something different. And she wanted to only work with women and especially women business owners. And her audience was boutique owners and photographers and stylists, right? So she really went into this niche, and none of her old pictures were speaking to that audience. So now she has an all woman audience. How do we bring that feminine energy? And honestly, as a woman and as a creative, when I think of accounting, it makes me break into a cold sweat, right? But if I was going to Yahi, if I was looking for an accountant who I felt like this person will understand me, would Yahi not be the person you want to work with? I mean, look at her. She looks like compassionate. She looks, knowledgeable. She looks professional, but yet she looks like she's really in with it. She gets, what it means to be a female business owner, and her pictures convey that, right? So, what is that authenticity factor that you want to bring in? This is my client, Michelle. And Michelle was a stay-at-home mom for many years, and then she decided to start a Pinterest agency. So she does Pinterest and SEO. And she wanted some brand images, and she sent me her mood boards and things like that for her brand. And they had a lot of palms and foliage in it. And I said, Michelle, what's the story of the foliage, right? What's the deal with the palm trees? She said, well, I am from Malaysia, and Malaysia has like this tropical foliage, and Malaysia is a peninsula. If you look at its geographic form, Malaysia is a peninsula, and that's why I named my business Peninsula Marketing to honor my heritage, right? And I just thought this was such a beautiful story. And how do we bring it into her brand with just subtle hints, not like full on, like map of Malaysia or plants or things like that. So these were all clothes, by the way, that she had in her closet. This is not new stuff that we went and bought. A couple of things which I'm going to point out to you. So this foliage dress was already in her wardrobe. We paired it with a black blazer, right? So subtle hint to that whole foliage and the branding thing. Here, you can't see them too well, but we have monstera leaf earrings that we bought on Etsy that she used also in her images. And then you see here, we gave her heels with like a little foliage print on it. So you don't have to full on wear a palm print shirt or this dress if you don't want to, but think of creative ways in which you can tell your story, in which you can bring in stories of your roots or, what matters to you. Like I know that Kathy, you moved to Virginia Beach, and if you wanted to bring some of that in, you could have like a tiny gold shell in a necklace somewhere, or you could have a big shell sitting behind you on your shelf, right? It doesn't mean that you need to wear a shirt that says "I love Virginia Beach" necessarily. Like I'm giving you a very like exaggerated example, but I'm giving you ideas of what that can mean for you. Um, so there to recap, what is CEO style? So according to me, it's the intersection of your what works best for your body type, your best colors, and your authenticity factor. So I know I've given you a lot to think about. I know you're gonna send me messages and say, oh my gosh, I know what my authenticity factor is. I know what that one thing is that's gonna trigger my brand, my personality in people's mind, right? So just remember that people aren't just buying your services, they are buying your energy, right? There's a lot of stylists, but maybe there's something I say or the way I dress that makes you feel like, oh my gosh, she's the right stylist for me. There may be a lot of, people who teach branding, but there's a reason why you're drawn to Malika, and that is her energy, right? It is her vibe. And one of the ways to set that tone is in the way you dress. And the truth is, it's not just for how other people perceive you, it's also for how you feel in your clothes. And I actually think that is 80% of it. Because if you feel good, then you can do good. You cannot do anything good if you don't feel good about who you are. And the quickest way to change your energy is to change your clothes. If you want to work out, right? But if you stay in your pajamas till 11 o'clock, you're not going to feel like working out. But if you put on that sports bra and those leggings, it's going to shift your energy for that next thing. So whatever that next thing is, don't underestimate the power of your clothes to help you step into that and next level energy. Questions? That was a lot of talking. I'll have a sip and you can ask me questions.
Do you mind stopping the share so we can see each other?
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. I feel like I have some work to do. It was in my style, but it's true. Like I know, like I'm thinking of people that I've worked with who have a signature element. So like we have a friend, Kate Dawson, who is the
Mm-hmm.
decor whore. She always wears the biggest earrings. That is
Yes.
her signature thing. That's how we know her.
Yep.
For you, Swapna, always have a bold lip.
The bold lip.
Someone recently told me that they always see me with red nails, and I was like, I don't know if I want that to be my signature thing. but that's what they said. So you could also be doing something that you don't mean to, that's part of your signature. That's why being actively defining it is so important,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So, it's funny you mentioned Kate because in the extended version of the presentation, there's a slide about Kate, and it shows her in these big earrings. And we were at her shoot, right? Like she has a wall like that has a mounted wooden stand that is full of big earrings. And then you know how there's like 12 days of Christmas. So one year, somebody sent her a different pair of earrings every single day, every single day.
Yeah. So Tracy's asking, can my signature thing be a hat and pigtails? It can, I guess, right? If that's
It absolutely can. But the thing is that a hat covers your face, right? And why could it not be a hairstyle like your pigtails, right? I mean, think of Anna Wintour. Even if somebody did a pencil sketch of Anna Wintour, she would have that like severe bob, and you would know that it's her, right? Or think of Devil Wears Prada. Like, doesn't Miranda Priestley have like a very signature haircut with like that wave going across her face? So it could be, but then that's like a long-term commitment to just show up in that
so.
all the
Here's a
time.
question for you, Swapna. So
Yeah.
you have like, I appreciated you saying that a lot of it is that middle ground. So we have like
Hmm.
relax mode, and then there's like professional mode where we actually are
Right.
actively and mindfully dressing for a presentation. But then the in
Right.
between can get kind of gray, where it's kind of could
Right.
be all over the place.
Right.
Um, so how do you start? How do you start? Do you look at your wardrobe that's in your closet now and you kind of try to assess and see some patterns, some things that are doing, or do you like burn it all down and then you start from scratch?
No, I don't recommend burning it all down because if you do, what are you going to wear till you can invest all that money in your clothes? I'm just kidding. But I really think you need to look at your lifestyle. You need to look at how much time and energy you're willing to commit. And then the other thing is assess your wardrobe, right? And look at the things you tend to reach for all the time. And then ask yourself, what is it that I love about this garment? What is it that I love about this shirt? Like I'll tell you, um, if you look at my Facebook profile picture, I'm wearing this shirt and it's a simple shirt. It's from Target. It's nothing fancy. But you know what? When I'm on screen, the color looks great. I like the color. It's cotton, so it's physically comfortable. I'll tell you what I don't like about it, that it requires ironing. Ironing is my nemesis. Okay. So I do look at clothes. I'm like, is this going to wrinkle? Then if it's going to wrinkle, I'm not going to buy it. Or things that are dry clean only. I cannot commit to picking up things from a dry cleaner. And I don't know about you guys, but like dry cleaning is very expensive these days, right? So think about your lifestyle. Like, are you going to remember to pick up your clothes from the cleaners or you have a delivery service? Then great, go for it. For me, like that's not very sustainable, right? So what is gonna, I always say, simplify to amplify. Okay. Um, I have naturally very curly hair. If I established a standard for myself where it needs to be pin straight or beautifully blown out, I will I will be like never showing up anywhere, right? But instead, what I invested in is getting a curly haircut, in getting a better products that are designed for curly hair, just so it can simplify my hair days and how I show up, right? Um, so where can you simplify? And then when you look at the clothes you have, the things that light you up and you wear all the time, why am I wearing this? Is it the color? Like, is it doing something for my skin? Like my skin glows in this. Or, do my eyes really pop? Like for those of you that have blue eyes, like do you naturally gravitate towards wearing blue things because it does wonders for your eyes? Ask yourself that. On the flip side, things you absolutely don't wear at all, or things you have in your closet that still have tags on them, right? Why have you not worn it yet? Priscilla is laughing because I think she has some things that have tags on them. Right? Why have I not worn this yet? So often it's like you were caught up in the moment, so you bought it, right? Maybe it's like bright orange, but you never wear orange at all. So ask yourself, what was it that drew me to this item that made me buy it? Sometimes it's like, okay, well, um, I bought this, but I don't know what goes with it. Then play around with it. See what goes with it. According to me, you should be able to wear everything in your wardrobe at least three different ways,
Hmm.
right? I'll give you two easy ones. It needs to go with something black, even if black is not your color. All of us have a pair of black pants or black jeans, right? One should be a denim look. And the third one is like a surprise me look, like get creative. What else can you wear it with, right? Do I have those three things to complete that look? If not, am I willing to invest in three more things to make this one piece work?
Hmm. So Priscilla has her hand raised, but there are also two
Yes,
comments in the chat. So I just want to bring that.
yes. Okay. Priscilla, you want to ask your question?
Yes, first I want to say you're correct. I do have some things in my closet that have tags on it, but that's only because I bought them with the hopes that I bought them a size smaller because thinking that it would motivate me to lose weight. And they've
And
been sitting,
how has that worked for you?
it hasn't.
Hasn't worked. Okay. Um,
Well, my question though is this: I've never had a I don't know. This is just not my space in terms of clothing. I've always had my sister. She is perfect at it. She can get anything and make it look fantastic. And I always shop with the mindset I'm going to shop from top to bottom. What I see on the mannequin. Oh, I like the whole get up. I'm getting the whole get up, and I get out the
sure.
store. So
Yeah.
I've never been good at putting colors and stuff together. Maybe I'm colorblind and just don't realize I want to admit it. But at the end of the day, I have hired stylists in the past to kind
Hmm.
of put things together. Or if I can't afford it or it's getting too expensive, I just scan my closet and ask my sister, help me put something together. I got this interview, da 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 da.
Right.
The last thing I want to say is that I have over the last 3 years, I love my headgears, as you can see
Hmm.
today. And
Yes.
so all of my posts, if anyone goes onto my site, you'll see I wear some form of head thing. So can you talk to that in terms of those that wear headgear like this? It was kind of similar to the judge, not judge, the
Right.
Supreme
Yes.
RBG, like she wears those things. I think
Yes.
it's one of my signatures.
Absolutely. It absolutely is. It absolutely is your brand trigger. And so now here is where you get to be playful, right? When you travel, you can maybe shop local textiles for fabric that you can use, right? When you wear colors, you can say, well, does this color flatter my skin tone because it's so close to your face, right? What colors can I wear? So I absolutely think your headgear can be for you what the necklace is for RBG. It's something that people can easily identify, right? And then you can play with it. Like you can match it to your outfit. Like if you're wearing a solid outfit, you want to wear a printed, like, you know, yeah, like play with it, have fun with it, and absolutely use it as a form of self-expression. I mean, I love the idea. Yeah, great question. Okay, Stacy says,
Yeah.
how do we know what our colors are? I know what I favor, but worry that it is not the right choice. So, Stacy, great question. When a color is right for you, it's usually doing something for you. It will make let's say you have dark circles, it will make them disappear. It clears up your skin. You'll say, oh my gosh, I look amazing. I don't even have makeup on. Or sometimes, when the color is right for you, your lips will look like you're wearing lipstick, but you aren't actually wearing lipstick. So the real way to know what your best colors are is to have a color analysis. It is something I offer, but what the three things we take into consideration when we do a color analysis are obviously we all know what warm and cool means, right? Like warmer colors that lean more red, and then cooler colors that are lean more blue. But we also take into consideration saturation, right? How light or dark. And dark, I don't mean in terms of skin color, whether your skin is light or dark, but it's actually the depth of it. So whether you're bright or you're deep, and the other thing is whether you're soft and muted or you are more like on the brighter end. So light versus deep, bright versus soft, and then warm versus cool. And then based on that, you know your season, which just like the seasons in nature are spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And then based on that, you get a palette of your best colors. So it makes it significantly easier to shop. When I do color analyses, people say, I never gravitated towards this color, and now I know why. So fun fact, I don't own anything orange. And I just never have been naturally like attracted to wearing orange things. And now I know why, because I'm a winter and that's not my color.
Yeah, maybe a
But I
first
don't own pastels.
basic could be like, what's the color that everybody compliments you on? Like when you wear it and people are like, oh my God, you look amazing. It's like, then you know that's your color.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and it's funny though, that's the one color I don't feel as confident in, the one I get the most compliments on, which I think is interesting. But who's qualified to do a color analysis?
Somebody who has a certificate in color analysis.
Okay.
Like I have one. And right now, like, I mean, I do it even virtually. A lot of people only do them in person. So yeah.
Yeah. And
People are surprised by what they find out in a color analysis. And to me, the more fascinating part is there's also a personality quiz that goes with it in my service. And it's really interesting to see how things line up.
I think that's something like a web designer should be giving so that everything is on brand, right? Like your
Yes.
website should be in alignment with the colors that you're wearing, because in the brand photos that you're going to take, right?
Right.
See, like everything will then be so tight. Like,
right.
We always pick colors that we like for our brands, for the website.
Right.
Things.
Right. And also what's trending, don't you think? Because sometimes like a few years ago, everything was like soft muted colors and then all the fonts were like a specific cursive. But what if I look terrible in latte? Like that's not my color, you know? And then there's people who give advice like you should always wear your brand colors. Well, what if your brand colors are not your best colors?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And so I'm a good example of this. So I used to have in my previous brand, it was that hot magenta
Yes.
pink. But then I moved to my personal brand and I really intensely wanted it to be classic and timeless. So I pulled that hot pink out and made it more neutral. But my wardrobe, I look good in that magenta. And so in my brand photos, I'm wearing that. And there is a disconnect in the colors. And now I get it. So now I'm like thinking of doing an upgrade for my website. And I just asked my web designer, I think I need to tweak my colors because if I'm going to do a new brand photo shoot, I'm going to wear the colors that look good on me. And so they have to be complementary to the brand colors. So I do think web designers should get in on that.
Yeah. I've had one client who was on the verge of a rebrand, and in her old brand, she's wearing like this really deep, dark, like winter green that you see at Christmas time, like it's the color of Christmas trees. And she was doing this rebrand with some Hillary Weiss, do you know? Malika? And she said, you know what, I'm gonna just get my colors done because if I'm gonna do this, I just want to do it right. And her colors are completely opposite of what her old brand was. And when we did her colors, she's like, this feels so much more like me.
Yeah. I think it's a valid point, right? Because you want to feel like yourself and you want it to all look good together.
Yeah.
All right. So Allison has a question or a comment. I don't know if you can read that there, Swapna, but it's up in.
I see one. Where's Allison's? Oh, here it is. I have a very straight waist and no hips. I struggle with feeling feminine in most clothing styles. I tend to stick to jeans and sweaters because dresses feels like I'm trying too hard. Okay. So a few years ago, I gave a talk in New Jersey, and this woman said to me, and she was, I mean, she had adult children, so I'm guessing she was at least in her early 50s. And she said to me, no matter how much Spanx I wear, the dress just doesn't look right. And I said to her, that means that the dress is wearing you and you're not wearing the dress, right? Because if you have to wear 2 or 3 layers of Spanx, which I don't even know, you guys, I live to eat and drink. And in even one pair of Spanx, that seems really hard. So I don't know why anyone's wearing multiple pairs of Spanx. But anyway, if you have to change your body shape to fit into a dress, then that's not the right dress for you. So, Allison, maybe the dresses you are trying on um, are not the right dresses for your body shape, right? So, there are dresses out there that are right for you. Like I haven't seen full length pictures of you or anything, so it would be hard for me to tell. But um, there are ways that you can create movement and whatnot, right? So the fabrics you choose are going to make, if you want to feel feminine, wearing a dress is not the only way. If you are going to wear a sweater, it could be like an off shoulder one, right? You could bring in other elements that feel more feminine. You can choose a shorter sweater with a higher waist jeans, and that will automatically create the illusion of a waist if that is what you want to do. You can be feminine in the way you paint your nails or the way you wear your hair. It doesn't always have to be a dress, right? Necklines, ruffles, a ruffle on your sleeve. There's just different things you can wear that are going to help you achieve that look.
Right. Tracy has a question here. Do your
Yes.
best colors change when you change your hair color? My natural color is dark brown. I was always a winter. Wonder if that's changed now that she's a blonde.
You were always like people with dark brown hair can be, if you are a winter and if someone's told you that in a color analysis, then I hope your blonde is a very platinum blonde because winters typically, like if you could go blonde, but then like you're gonna have to change your makeup and it's because the blonde and your skin are just like a cool skin with warm hair. Like you're gonna have to compensate a lot. And yes, um, the way you wear your colors will change too with blonde hair. Like I'm a winter and I look great in cool bright colors, but I also look good in deep dark colors, right? So if I suddenly went and I got blonde hair, it's gonna change. Like I'm gonna have to wear significantly brighter, more warm clothes. It's gonna change my makeup. So if you did go from having really dark hair to having blonde hair, I hope you didn't go too warm. Can't tell on Zoom.
Swapna, I
Can't
know
tell.
you have like a link if people are interested.
Oh
in
yes.
So,
I do. Where is it?
you put that in the chat, and I'll make sure I
Yes.
put it in the recording that goes along with.
Here it is.
Yeah.
If you scan this, oops, sorry. If you scan this QR code, it will take you to a page with a bunch of links. If you want to follow me on social, it's there. If you want to book a 15-minute free call to talk about, your style, we can do that too. So everything's there. I just got back from like a really long trip, so I have to open up my calendar again. So I will do that after our call today. But yeah, bookmark that page, and then we can connect and stay in touch. And there's also a Zoom style guide. And if you're planning a brand photo shoot, there's a guide for that on my website. Here's my website. It's just styleremix.com.
Maybe you and Tracy should connect, because I know Tracy is a brand photographer and Swapna does virtual styling. So that could be
yes, definitely
collab. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I will, you can send me those links too.
Sounds good.
And then I'll make sure to put it in the recording email that gets sent out to everybody.
Perfect.
Anyone else have any other questions for Swapna about personal style before we break? Anyone? I mean, I think it's something, it's important, right? It's like sometimes you do the website, you do the branding, you do the offers, and then you don't spend the time of like the actual presentation and the visibility. And if you want people to hire you as the expert, if you want to charge what you want to charge for your packages, you're going to want to think about how you are presenting yourself. And it doesn't mean you have to be a glamour queen. It means you have to be who you are, but like in a very put together, polished way in order to build that trust.
Absolutely. And Malika, like you and I have experienced this with styling photo shoots, but it's almost the clothes are something almost everybody waits until like a couple of days before.
Yeah. Imagine if this was a part of like who you wanted to be and you had it, and then you have a brand photo shoot and you're just shopping your closet because you're already there, right?
Yes,
So yes,
absolutely.
I think, you were saying like a lot of women come to you are in midlife, right? Menopause.
Yep.
I feel like I'm at that stage now and I'm just like, I'm just ready to amp it up and just,
Yep.
this is it, guys. I gotta like show up. So I might be calling you, Swapna. We can have a conversation.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Always love to hear from you. Well, this was so much fun. Thank you so much, Malika. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. And I hope you're walking away with some action points. And I would love to connect and stay in touch and see where your style takes you.
Yeah. Especially if you have some upcoming, presentations,
Yes.
can maybe book that 15-minute, get some ideas,
Yes.
and then maybe there are other opportunities as well.
Yes.
So
Sounds good.
awesome. Thank you guys for coming. Our next Brand
Thank
Power
you.
is on March 22nd. It's a Friday. It'll be about podcasting. So come join us for that one, but you'll get a notice for that in the follow-up email. All right, guys, have a great day. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.